It would almost seem like that the money scammers left Prague because we didn't publish a video about them for a year. Well, guess what? They're still here, up and running. Nicknamed the White Hat, but now he's wearing a black hat. Now, we're waiting for the cops, main reason being that this guy not only changes money to tourists and scams them.
Yes.
You do that? Okay. But he threatened a woman.
Unfortunately, that's exactly the case. Not only have the street scammers in Prague not disappeared, but they've made it a regular destination where they come to rob tourists, because they know that nothing will happen to them here.
Help, police! Help, help!
A thief is calling for help and bringing me to the police. Look at that. This is turning out to be funny. We've been filming these guys for almost a decade now, and it's been a year since we published our last video. And throughout that year, we have filmed a lot of stuff. How come the police doesn't do anything about you?
This is the law, I know.
This is the law.
Yeah?
Okay.
Check law, no?
Čau. Ty lidi používají bankomat, já používám ruličkáře. Pane Nito, to je strašně málo, já potřebuji víc, pane Nito. We will eventually get to every single one of these stories, but for today we're only gonna focus on this guy, which is Marko, because he did something much worse than just scamming tourists on the streets of Prague.
But first, let's go back to 2022, when we met Marko for the very first time. Just to be clear, he's been coming to Prague to steal for much longer. According to his Facebook, he was here for the first time in 2017.
But we met in person for the first time here on Wenceslas Square. This is also where he got his nickname, White Hat.
Jasně, Honzíku! Hey, Honzo, bílá čepice!
And it is fair to say that he was not enjoying our first meeting in person.
Valentine!
I would say almost upset. We did reach out to the police that day because we had footage of him offering tourists to exchange money on the street. So when we provided the footage, the cops decided to search them, him and his buddy. And they did find tens of thousands of Belarusian rubles that they were claiming to the tourists were Czech crowns, which is the fraud.
Since then, we run into him a few more times, but we've also received a lot of photos from you guys, our viewers, who spotted Marko on various locations around Prague.
And finally on Celetná Street, or to be more precise, here in this passage where someone managed to film him in action as he's scamming two tourists.
A few nervous looks around, and Marko has vanished.
He did eventually show up at the crime scene, if I may call it that. He did change his look, but his character stayed the same. And since I got a heads up from our WhatsApp group, I went to check him out. Tak, měl by tady za rohem být bílá čepka, tak jdeme zjistit.
Stůj! Počkáš tady, jestli?
Není problém. Kde policajt?
We did call the cops to solve the situation with Marko because I was hoping that I will provide the evidence, the pure, clear video of him scamming the tourists, but it was only for 50 euros. It would have to be for 400 to make it a felony. This was just a misdemeanor, so he only got a ticket, something like a parking ticket, same thing. But let's move ourselves to the present time. We do have a WhatsApp group where we write each other when we see a money scammer on the street. And as every week in the early hours, I got a message that Marko is just by the exchange office scamming some tourists. So I hopped on my big Batmobile and I went after him. And this is how catching the scammers usually looks like. You get this pink bike and you ride down to catch him.
Sorry, just a quick technical side note. The following has been filmed with these glasses that can film video, but they're not really reliable, and sometimes they drop a few frames, and sometimes the audio file is missing, so I do apologize for that. You'll understand in a second.
Bej. Co je ma? Bej. Wondering. Bej, shut up.
As we're walking past the new city hall with Marko, I called the cops. This time not only for him changing money on the street, but mainly for threatening the woman.
Now, obviously, a little explanation is needed here. Our videos have had the side effect of making these guys into something like celebrities. And now you recognize them on the streets. These are all the photos and videos you've sent us. And the fact that you filmed the scammers in action obviously annoys them. But most of the time, they just shut up and walk away.
Ciao.
Hi, it's Cam. Sorry. I watching some one YouTube channel with.
Dobrý den.
Tak prosím, pojďme.
Okay.
Sorry guys, he's a scammer.
Don't trust this guy, he's fake. He wants to steal fake money.
It's fake, bro.
Go, we call police, yeah? Go.
Ciao, brother.
And Marco did exactly opposite of that. While he was scamming a group of tourists, he was actually being filmed by one of our viewers, female viewer. And he noticed that she's filming him and he didn't like it, so he went after her. This is how she described it for us.
I work in the center of Prague, and in that morning I noticed this guy. He was standing nearby and looking around. I immediately realized what he was doing because I watch your videos and I know these people and they are not very unscrupulous. About half an hour later, he called the first group, took them around the corner and tried to do his business. I wanted to shout at them and warn them, but luckily they left and didn't let themselves be fooled. Unfortunately, he noticed that I was taking pictures and filming him so I could send it to you, and he started talking to me in a mean tone, saying that I can do this and so on. It was not a pleasant experience. I was a bit scared.
She was scared. Up to this point, these guys were only cheating foreign tourists, and to be honest, the city hall and the officials really didn't care because they were foreigners. But now they're threatening locals that are trying to prevent a crime or stop a crime. That's where the line for me was crossed. Therefore, maybe also because of that, I was kind of losing my temper with Marco that day.
Nešajte na mě! On má problém se mnou, si myslím.
Jo, to je dobře.
Atentais, pentru this, e o reclamație big for you.
S radostí. S radostí.
Acum, eu fac
S radostí.
reclamație.
Můžete mě reklamovat kde
Pentru asta acum tady,
Ano. Ano.
promite.
Ano. Na ženskou si dovolíš a na chlapa
Není
ne?
normal, není
Na
normal.
ženskou si dovolíš ty sráči?
No česky, băi, no česky, e o reclamație for you. Este Europa.
You threatened a woman.
Since we waited for the cops quite a bit, we did talk a bit. And it's fair to say that some of the exchanges we talked about were just bizarre and absurd.
Paris.
Yeah, I was in Paris. Yeah,
I'm looking.
You saw it?
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? De ce? Uite că m-a luat și pe mine Rubeš și aici sunt cu el, vorbesc cu el. Dă-l pe Ramos să-l vadă. Băi, stai că is my boy now. Dă-l pe, uite-l. 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 Uite-l, mă. Mamă, ce nebun e. My baby you're looking for you.
Your
For
baby
me.
is watching our videos?
Yes, yes, yes.
Imagine that.
The police eventually arrived on the scene. They took down the contact information for the woman Marco had threatened and harassed in her shop. On site, they fined him 10,000 crown, which is around $400, for the money exchange, which he admitted to.
Jasně, on se tomu prostě směje, no. To je fakt neuvěřitelné. And if you think Marco called it a day and went home and stopped seeing, no, he did not. He went back to the Wenceslas Square and was luring more tourists to scam them. And we got this picture in the evening as he was running away into the metro. I didn't know how to end this episode, either a positive way or negative, being sad, because there really is very little change. But as we were filming today, wondering how to finish it, we actually came across another money scammer that, believe it or not, was so upset with meeting us that he went to a police station to report us that we're filming him.
I'm for police, okay?
Yeah, we're standing in front of a police station.
Police, what you doing? No make nothing, because I no make nothing. Why you abuse me?
I do not abuse you. I'm just standing on the street where I live. You happen to come here to steal money from tourists.
I make a big complaint for you.
Make a big complaint? If you're from Romania, planning a trip to Prague, and you're one of these guys, be sure you'll have a beautiful pictures from your vacation provided by Honza and Janek, the honest guides. We'll make sure they're in 4K all over the internet. Until then, bye-bye. Bulanjula.